Welcome to another episode of the B.S.P.C podcast, and we're going to start it off like we kind of have been doing every Monday, it seems like, with just Reddit stories, and I think that's just going to be the trend for now on, for Mondays anyway. We're going to be doing relationships.
Yes, sir.
So I got two stories pulled up, as usual. The first one is by JFG 1435. My 32 male wife, 33 female, of 7 years, punches pillows and hits bed with them when angry. How concerned should I be on a scale of 0 to 10? She grew up in a physical and emotionally abusive home. We have a 3-year-old together. She is a stay-at-home mom. I never saw her do it until after we were married. I've seen her do it once or a few times per month. She doesn't do it in front of me or the kid most of the time. She has never hit me or our child. She says it's good because she has ADHD, so she struggles with emotional regulation, and this is her taking anger out in a way that does not hurt anyone or anything, but I don't know. I've confronted / questioned her once after she calmed down, and she said, 1, she is entitled to her feelings, and 2, this is a safe way to relieve frustration. Is she right? Have not brought it up since. No, she's not right. As a person that myself who had a legitimate anger issue growing up all the way until I met my wife. No, that's a serious conversation that needs to happen. And she really needs to reflect on her past, understand the circumstances of what took place, and come to an acknowledgement of breaking those chains, accepting it for what it was, and not let it affect her in the future. I had to do the same thing. Can't tell you the last time I was legitimately mad because of my progress over the past decade of me working on it. Yeah, she's not hurting anybody or anything like that, but the problem is it's early right now, but the older she gets, the more bold she will become.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna front you, bruh. Like, that's kind of childish. I don't care if you grew up in a physical, emotional, abusive home, whatever you said in the beginning, but that's just kind of crazy. You're an adult. You just don't go and hit the bed and act like a child. I'll be kind of scared, man. You punch your pillows and stuff. Like, I'll be kind of scared and think you're crazy. You know, I wouldn't even want my child to be around that, because what if she get too mad, don't got the bed or the pillows, and knock fire from you and your kid? That's kind of dangerous to me. She need to go to anger management, something, but it's something ain't right there.
No,
you know, and yeah,
it's just because she says, number one, she is entitled to her feelings. I get that, man. But here's the thing: you're married now. You're no longer entitled to your feelings, because when you are married, you and your partner become one. You are one flesh under God. Now, if you don't believe in God, it doesn't matter. You are still one in the government system. That's how they look at it. Now that you're one, you're officially married to each other. My emotions are no longer entitled to me. If I'm feeling a type of way, I need to have a conversation with my wife about it. And then we talk about it, discuss about it, and get into deep dialogue depending on the situation, depending on the emotion, depending on why, so on and so forth, to figure out where the problem is so we can fix the root of the problem. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a week or two or a month. It could take a year or so, but communication is extremely important in this situation. If she allows herself to continuously go in this direction, letting out her anger and pillows and then bed, it will go into something else the older she gets.
Exactly. I would definitely start documenting every single time she do that. Record it. Do whatever you got to do. Because if it does turn to something else, the man is never in the right, ever. The woman can lie all day long, say this is the reason why I did this, because he did this. You know, not saying she's gonna do that, but just in case, start writing stuff down, start recording stuff, and start, you know, actually, just in case something happens, you have something on hand saying I did not do absolutely nothing. She's doing all this crazy stuff, didn't touch her or nothing, but yeah, she shouldn't be acting like a child, and she should go to anger management. And if she don't, I consider trying to at least get separated until she figure out how to control her anger around you and your kid.
Not even just anger, but it's not just anger, but it's counseling needs to be done too. If you can't sit there and talk to your significant other and work it out together like I can with my wife, and sometimes you just can't, counseling on top of the anger management. As the husband said in this post, she grew up in an abusive household. I grew up in a kind of abusive household, and I'm sure you have too in a way. The thing is, she's letting her past define her and using her past as an excuse for her to do what she's doing, while somebody like me that actually put in the effort to change, and there's a lot of people out there that's done the same thing I have, use my past as an excuse. Like, I can go on for hours about things that's happened between me and my father and stuff that, and me and my brother and other, even at school, and it was bad, but it doesn't define me anymore. She has both blocked out memories of her past. I did, and I had to remember them to help work on me. And B, she still holds a big grudge of multiple different things that's happened to her in her past that she's not letting go, which is why she's getting into her anger side easily. Yeah.
And obviously, before you get separated, try to help her, try to figure out ways like to calm that down, to release more stress. I think a lot of people is not like Matt. They can go from being angry all the time and then don't know how to control the anger to controlling the anger. A lot of people don't have the mental capacity to really do that.
No.
It's hard. I had anger issues, Matt had anger issues, and we figured it out for ourselves. She gotta do it within herself, because she can't keep living like that. She can't keep putting herself through childish stuff that she's punching pillows like.
I used to just deck people in the face for looking at me funny, and even in video games, I broke so many Nintendo 64 controllers, Xbox controllers, put holes in walls and stuff like that. I've done that. I was that kid, and I had nowhere else to vent my anger towards, because I couldn't do it in front of my dad at all, because that was an immediate ass whooping, and that was like on a daily basis my whole childhood. So I had nowhere to vent it out to. As I got older, and especially since I met my wife, those long talks we've had, me not being prideful and egotistical about anything, and just listening and acknowledging and then eventually accepting, it turned me into who I am now.
Yep. And like you say, you had your wife to help you through it all.
And she has her husband.
Yep, and she has her husband. And
but she's got to let him do that.
Exactly. If you ain't got a can opener, find a knife and cut that motherfucker open and try to peel the beans, man. Try to figure out what's the root to all of this.
Because
you gotta find a way.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, unless you got something extra to say, just like with friends, your true partner and your true friends will tell you the truth about yourself, even if it's mean. And they're not meaning it in a malicious way. They're telling you what they see because they care.
Yep, just trying to help you.
But besides that, the second story here, this one's a long one. I'm gonna try to get through it. It's a lot here. It's by interesting_cash4567. The title is My Female 24 College Friend, Female 23, is holding me emotionally hostage. How do I let her know her behavior is unacceptable / protect my peace? I, 24 female, have this friend, 23 female, who we will call W. W and I met in our first couple of weeks of college and have been two of the only girls in a mostly male friend group for the past couple of years. When I met her, she was on the heels of an incredibly abusive relationship, a health issue, and was struggling significantly with her mental health. I myself have struggled with pretty severe OCD, body dysphoria, and depression and anorexia in the past, and with meds and therapy have been more or less stable since getting into college. This is all to say I was incredibly empathetic to her situation and was happy to be a part of her support system, but was also working on my own problems. Our relationship in the first year was fun at times. She was funny, cool, and interesting, and a blast to go out with. At the same time, my friendship with her was incredibly exhausting and emotionally one-sided. She was someone who needed constant reassurance and attention and had the tendency to have complete breakdowns, which be, crying, locking herself in a room, threatening to hurt or even herself in the face of even minor setbacks or rejection. Everyone walked on eggshells around her because they were afraid that if they pushed back, criticized her, or failed to give her anything less than complete devotion, she would harm herself. If you tried to tell her no, she would guilt trip you or wear you down until you did what she wanted. And God forbid you tried to let her know that something she did affected you, or else she would apologize or...
You good, man?
I can't pronounce that word. I really can't. I can't pronounce that word.
I don't know. Denigrate.
Denigrate herself. I don't deserve friends. I'm so sorry. You should just drop me. Stuff like that. To the point that you become the one having to apologize and to comfort her. She often belittled my own mental health struggles, casting herself as the one that was really struggling and completely disregarding that the reason I was, at least on the surface, doing better than her. Because I had taken accountability and put in the work every day to heal myself in my relationships. Still, I attributed a lot of her more difficult characteristics to this abusive situation and her mental health struggles. As time went on, I began to recognize that the persistence of her melodramatic antics and manipulative behavior, despite thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of intensive therapy, support, and medications, is largely rooted in the combo of interest, intense insecurity, immaturity, and self-centeredness. She continues to be incredibly manipulative to her friends, including me, by using her mental health as a leverage to get what she wants. She is extremely jealous of my relationship and will openly insult him / our relationship. I frequently told her that the level of physical intimacy, hugging, touching, cuddling, and emotional closeness she expects from me makes me feel uncomfortable and disrespected. She frequently questions the genuineness of my sexual identity. I have been in a relationship with a man most of the time I have known her. And then she recently switched her profile to show both men and women for no other reason than attentions, further evidencing the fact that she assumes everyone who is bisexual, including myself, is really straight. She makes constant uncomfortable comments comparing my body to hers in a way that makes me feel horrible given my continued struggle with BDD. I can't say that word, it's YouTube. I'm just going to go back to what she said. I am bisexual and have had relationships with both men and women. She genuinely, she genuinely aggravates herself and exaggerates in a way, is incredibly transparent, and has recently put on this bizarre, vaguely British vocal affectionate to make herself seem more intellectual. She does not really listen to you when you try to communicate with her. She puts us in a position where we have to be extremely confrontational to get the point across / set a boundary, which often leads to situations blowing up, then turning into yet another instance where we are having to comfort her. I'm going to end the story there.
That's a lot.
That's not only that, it's a lot. I've been wanting to say from the beginning that she's compulsive narcissist.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean,
your friend is a compulsive narcissist. So when she doesn't get what she wants, she cries and drama dumps about her life in front of everybody to make them feel bad and want to apologize. Or she'll sit there and say she's going to harm herself and all this and that to get the attention, because she sounds like your friend cannot stand the fact of having no control over anything or anybody. She is just textbook definition narcissist.
Yep. All right. Keep it 100 with you, bro. Like that's your friend is not your friend.
No.
She's just there to drain you from everything emotionally and mentally that you have, because it don't make sense to me. Like a lot of stuff, like I'm big on mental health. Really big on mental health. Everybody should have like that outlet or that person to help. But at the same time, you can't sit there and act like that your struggles are bigger than the next person's struggles. And that seemed like what the friend is doing with you, like a lot, and trying to break you down, and then come back and say, oh, I feel like this, I'm horrible, or I'm mentally fucked up. And then want you to help them out. It's a weird situation. I would just pretty much drop her as your friend. That's not your friend. She's just sucking you dry, and it's very negative. Very, very negative. You don't need that.
Yeah.
Especially when they're in college.
Yeah. They're in college. They're in college.
Yeah, you don't need that, bro. You gotta leave that alone.
No, because at the end of the day, wanting to help somebody is always a good thing. When you see somebody in a situation and that you've had similar situations happen to you, yeah, you're gonna want to help out. You want to give out advice and all this and that. My advice is to acknowledge that you've tried to help this person, but at the end of the day, you have to accept that the only way they're going to get helped is if they want to help themselves. Sounds like she doesn't want to help herself. My ex is similar to this, and I can go on about her, and I'm not going to right now. But the thing is, she wants attention. She wants to be the center of attention, and she wants it to always be about her. When she doesn't get her way, drama dumps, talks about her past, cries a lot, threatens to harm herself, so on and so forth. She strikes me the type of person that the minute that you try to leave from her, which you should break that friendship off 100%. I let her do what she's going to do. You're not an accomplice to anything. She will most likely definitely hurt herself, but not in the way of trying to get results, but more in the way of trying to get attention. And then blaming you to all of her other friends and saying that this was your fault. That's a bullet you're going to have to take. But people that are friends with her are friends that you don't need to have either. Just cut the tie of everything that she's connected to. It's doing nothing but dragging you down. You already went through your own mental issues, your own problems, and she's going to drag you right back into it. You want to keep that progress of positivity, cut the negativity, and that's what she is.
Yep. And like I tell my wife and told my wife and my sister, they went through situations like this, and you gotta choose yourself in this type of situation. You know, you can, like Matt said, you can help all day long, but if they don't want to help themselves, ain't nothing else you can do. So it's time to cut ties and care about you, care about your college, you know, what you got going in that, finish, and you know, it's life is real. You got negative people like that in your life, it's going to start bringing you down. Like you say, cut ties of all the way with everybody that's related to her, because if you don't, she's just going to keep coming around. And just focus on yourself. Get yourself together. Be happy. Just because she going to come around and say, oh, myself, you know, yada yada, she gonna come around and say that. But you gotta have the mental fortitude to be like, no, you need to help yourself, get yourself together. I'm gonna care about myself. And that's not being selfless or nothing, but it's just you worrying about your mental health, what you have going on. At the end of the day, you still a human as well. You still have mental issues as well. You can't help everybody.
A lot of smart people, intelligent people, people in business, CEOs, stuff like that, they all say the same thing. You cannot exceed in life surrounded by negativity. Be friends and surround yourself around those who have the same interests and are also positive. You surround yourself around negative people, it will negatively affect you as well.
Yep, pretty much.